Howdy, my name's Maynard Stanley, and today I'm going to show how I set the Hancock live beaver trap. This is the part that I do that's perhaps different than other people with this trap. What I'm going to do is I'm going to reach through right here. Okay, this spring right here. See, when I unhook this, I'm going to let it go and let it hook back on this side here. I usually hook it right on back onto the spring. I'm going to do the same on both sides. Now there's no spring pressure on this trap at all. It'll fall open. Here, I'm going to actually set this without the spring pressure on. That goes in there. This is all the same stuff you're familiar with here. And on this end, we'll hold this. The next thing I'm going to do is with the pan up, I'm going to set the safety ring. It don't matter if that pan stays up at this point right now anyway. But notice how high up the pan sets. I like this high pan because when that pan is up nice and high, when that beaver comes in, it's a lot easier for him to hit that when he comes into the bait. So, everything is set here, my safety's on. Now, next step is to weave some of this material here. The only thing about this that I would say is make sure you never use anything that the beaver are going to eat. This needs to be stuff that you know the beaver don't eat. You put the wrong stuff in here and the beaver will come and he'll start eating this instead of going after the bait, and he'll spring the trap or upset it anyway, and you'll end up with nothing. What we want to do is weave this material in through the wires, and this just gives gives the beaver something to step on that's going to feel more natural to him. If he steps on this wire, it could spook him, he could decide he don't like it, and he could leave. So this thing here, we're just going to keep weaving this in. Okay, this is adequate here. There's enough debris here to disguise the wires. Yeah, he may feel the wires, but at this point he's not going to be able to tell the difference between the wire and a piece of wood. Now the next thing you can do, what we're talking about, this is all stuff that I do at home, not on site. The next thing we can do to help increase our odds a little bit is put in a little bit of guide material here. So we're going to put this in at a little bit of an angle. It's just going to create a little bit of a V here. And put a little bit more over here. What we're going to try and do is create a little bit of a natural passage. Beaver are very accustomed to following a path or a well-used area. So now when I get to the site, I might find I need to alter these or change them a little bit. This here, I don't like having ends stick up, so I like to have the ends covered underneath something. But now I've got a little bit of here and a little bit over here. This is going to look like in the water. This part's going to be underwater. And these branches coming up is going to leave a natural path coming right up to the bait, which we'll put on next. This is what we're going to use here. You're going to have to use whatever's the best bait in your area, but around here, beaver find it really hard to pass up aspen. quaking aspen, popple. You can tell by the kind of round leaves. When the branches are this size here, the beaver eat the whole thing. As the branch gets bigger, or the tree, they'll eat all the bark off from it. But and they eat the leaves as well. So this is a really good bait, and today this is what we're going to use. Now what I do on these bigger ones, I might expose some more of the tender smell under that tender bark. This will help put a little more odor in the water, in the air, and help bring the beaver in. I think the color helps attract them. This trap's going to be sitting in the water. It could be, if it's a deep bank, it could be up like this. Or if it's more of a little shoreline, it could be like this. But we need to picture this trigger. We want this pan, trap pan, to be maybe just covered with water. I want the bait just out of the water. So if the bait's in this area right here, we should be fine. If there isn't a whole lot of water and it's shallow, I'm going to put the bait just behind the trigger in this area anyway. So you'll be able to tell, you'll see what I mean when we're going to set this and set this for beaver down in Port Clyde that's flooding a guy's driveway. So right now, I'm going to set this. Stick those wires that you had holding the bundle together. Stick them through to the back side, and then just twist them up. Okay. So for right now, this is all set. Now the lug, see, right now it's in the set mode, so this won't close unless the springs are hooked on and this trigger is released up here. So to fix this, for carry, what we're going to do is take these rings off. Okay. That ring's off. That ring's off. Now the trap will close up. Now when I get to the site, all I need to do is open it up, attach the rings back on here, and then we'll reach through and set the springs. So for now, set both of your rings, position the trap so that you have both of the springs coming back toward you. So what we're going to do, make sure that's hooked securely around the back side of the trap before you release it. You've got your safety on. There's no way this trap can close with the safety on. Okay, what we're going to do now, we're bait set. The springs are both back on the back side of the trap. Now we're going to set the trigger. And now this is how I do it. I want to keep just a little bit of pressure on that trigger. Now this rope is what I'll use to take the bungee off from the trigger. So I'm going to leave that back here. This trap is ready to put in the water.
Okay, you're pulling the pin. Right, like pulling.
So now, the only thing keeping this from firing is the bungee.